The planning and zoning meeting to order. First order of business is approval of the meeting minutes from last month.
I'd move approval.
You move to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none, unanimous. Meeting's approved. We'll move on to the first order of business. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item only item on the Planning Commission agenda tonight is the conditional use permit submitted by Martha Williams. Diana, I don't know. Wait, turn it on.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right. So this is a conditional use permit for a home business at 1545 East Highway 61, zone single-family residential within the North Shore Management Zone. The applicant's property includes .70 acres. The parcel is entirely within the single-family residential zone district. The home business activity is a listed conditional use in the R1 zone district, and the property is within the North Shore Management Zone. The applicant proposes to use an accessory structure on the property to offer yoga classes year-round. The frequency is anticipated to be up to 14 classes per week, 90-minute hot yoga classes with 8 people per class. In your packets on the bottom of page 1 is figure 1, the studio where yoga classes are proposed to be operated out of. For zoning considerations, as a reminder, a conditional use is an activity or use that would not be appropriate if allowed outright in any number, but which if controlled as to the number, location, and activity could be consistent with the comprehensive plan and not be injurious to the public health, safety, or general welfare. The review of each proposed use must determine that it will or will not be compatible with the standards of a zoning ordinance, and if it is found to be, must attach conditions to ensure this continued compatibility. This property is located within the North Shore Management Zone, shoreland area of Lake Superior, in the single-family residential R1 zone district. The principal purpose of the single-family R1 zone district is to provide for residential uses at a higher density, generally adjacent to or near developed areas, major roadways, or other sources of services. Multiple residential units, mobile home parks, and limited commercial uses are allowed on a conditional use basis in this district. The single-family residential zone district allows for home business as a listed conditional use. Home business is defined in the Cook County zoning ordinance as follows. A commercial or minor industrial business use conducted on the same property on which the owner's home is situated, which may employ no more than 5 persons who are not residents of the owner's home, which is consistent with rural residential lifestyle, and which is established and operated under such conditions that the use may not be a nuisance to or otherwise incompatible with the surrounding area. For background, the county tax records indicate that this property has a house, garage, storage building, and outhouse. The application states the current use of the property is permanent residence, which allows for the application to be meeting that home business definition. The property also has a vacation rental license. The applicant has explained that the short-term rental is operated when the family lives up the Gunflint Trail during intermittent time periods over the year. For site conditions and considerations, for septic system, the environmental health officer has provided a memo indicating that an outhouse or porta potty should be provided as a condition of the proposed use due to the frequency and duration of classes. There are no issues with impervious surface coverage, primarily because there's no additional structures being proposed. There is no wetlands or slope concerns. For noise, the proposed use shouldn't generate additional noise. For lighting, the application does not indicate there would be additional lighting. This could be discussed as to whether the proposed activity intends to add outdoor lighting. For safe access, there is a driveway accessing Highway 61 to the property. The application states there is adequate parking for up to 10 vehicles, 2 of which are in the garage and 8 that are in the driveway. For public noticing, the application was legally noticed in the Cook County News Herald on February 20th, 2026. 19 letters of notification were sent to adjacent property owners, as well as county departments and the North Shore Management Board. We received 2 written correspondence from the adjoining property owners and a memo provided by the environmental health officer. Ed Plummer of 1534 East Highway 61 identified no issues with the proposal, and William Humans and Andrea Larson 1544 East Highway 61 identified 4 issues with concerns, primarily related to no commercial signage on Highway 61, a septic inspection to determine sizing, parking as depicted on the site sketch, and no overflow parking on Highway 61, and no new buildings or additions relative to the small lot size. Obviously, the original memos are in your packet. For staff consideration for facts and findings, we've listed some draft findings for your consideration that might be amended. Number one, the use conforms to the land use or comprehensive plan of the county. The Cook County Land Use Guide Plan states for the east end of the county, most of the east end of Cook County is undeveloped forested areas or rural lands with low-density residential uses. Most economic enterprises are home businesses, home occupations, sustainable farmsteads, and occasional rural industries such as a small-scale sawmill. There's a commercial goal to provide commercial facilities to meet the needs of residents and visitors, with policy number 44 stating home occupations and home businesses are appropriate uses in all zone districts that permit residences. Number two, the use is compatible with the existing neighborhood. This use is compatible with the existing neighborhood so long as conditions addressing lightings, parking, signage, etc. are met. Number three, the use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding area of uses permitted by right of the zone district. Home business is a listed conditional use in the R1 zone district. And the location and character of the proposed use is considered to be consistent with the desirable pattern of development in the area. The location and character appear to meet the land use guide plan goals. Conditions should be considered to mitigate unintended growth considering the nature of the substandard lot and limiting areas. Staff recommendation for consideration. The proposed use appears non-problematic with surrounding land use patterns and zoning so long as parking is provided on site and there is a facility provided for guests to use the restroom approved by the environmental health officer. One comment letter indicates concern with signage. Cook County has a sign ordinance that grants property owners certain rights to signage on their property. Specifically, Section 8.01 allows for a sign permit in the R1 zone property meeting certain requirements. Note that the illumination of a sign would still require a conditional use permit. I've included a snapshot of that R1 zone district sign requirements. The Planning Commission should consider the potential findings listed and modify or amend or adopt as they determine appropriate after the public hearing for recommendation of the Cook County Board of Commissioners. The following conditions could be considered. Number one, the property shall be in compliance with Minnesota Rule 7080 and the Cook County Septic Ordinance. The home business shall be supported with an on-site wastewater treatment for the clients due to the frequency, number, and length of stay. Number two, no parking on Highway 61. Number three, signage must comply with the Cook County Sign Ordinance. And number four, this home business conditional use permit allows for yoga classes up to 8 clients per class, no more than 14 classes per week within the existing accessory structure. And number five, all local, state, and federal regulations must be adhered to. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are the applicants here? Is there things you would like to offer the board for consideration?
I think, well, first of all, thanks for having us. And second, we do have a history of running a business like this. I don't know if you would like to know that or not, but we ran a yoga studio in Minneapolis for 20 years. It really takes a lot of HVAC knowledge, and planning to run a hot yoga class. It needs to be 105 degrees and 40% humidity. And we thought long and hard about whether or not we wanted to open a business in Grand Marais and came to the conclusion that it wouldn't be able to support, the population in Grand Marais won't be able to support a $250,000 yoga studio. So we've thought a little bit smaller and tried to do this smarter. And did speak to both of our neighbors who we love very much, who I believed would be the most impacted by this, and they both agreed and said they thought it was a great idea. And so we know this business well. I think that's what I'm trying to inform you of. And we never intended to have a sign and won't have a website. This is really just about those of us in Cook County already who have had the great benefit of practicing hot yoga to be able to do it for health reasons.
Good.
So it will be very small.
Thank you. Anyone from the public who would like to address, open for public comment? Seeing none, we can close for public comment and discuss amongst the board here. Any thoughts as you've looked at both the findings of fact and the conditions that staff has offered?
I drove by the site, I didn't really see any issues. The fact that they've talked to directly adjoining neighbors makes a lot of,
Beneficial.
yeah.
I have one question. It says permanent residence. Is this one homesteaded?
Yes.
I didn't know if you were homesteaded up or homesteaded down.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's it. I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good illustration of the utility of allowing home businesses. I appreciate hearing the rationale of, looking at the business prospects of investing in opening a studio and then using what you have. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I particularly appreciate that you've already got quite a bit of experience with the HVAC requirements. The family member that loves it, so I've heard about it. One of the conditions put in here is 14 classes a week. You're comfortable with having this? Because once this gets passed by the board, that's what you're limited to.
I think for a few years, it'll be about 6 classes a week.
Okay.
14
So up
is.
to 14 is fine.
Would be, I would be very surprised.
Okay.
But we thought we would talk about the biggest possible use rather than the smallest use.
Mhm.
So that if it does grow, I also teach at North House Folk School. I have 2 other jobs, so this will not be my primary job. It
Okay.
is mostly so that Eric and I can practice yoga again.
All right. And then the lighting, typically people want to go before work and after work. Late season around here, it doesn't get light until quite a bit later. So is there a concept of how you're going to provide lighting for people to walk from their cars up to the facility?
People will need to be very informed about that this is not a yoga studio where they come and they drop in like they're used to in the Twin Cities. They'll need to bring a lot of like mats and towels for themselves, and be informed well ahead of time. So once a month, we plan to have an informative class for new people.
Mhm.
So we will not be having drop-in people because of the lighting. Eric was a member of the Dark Sky Society. We will not be having outdoor lighting or signage. So if they can't see in the dark, they'll have to have a headlamp. That will be sort of one of the things that people know.
The reason I ask is we have 1.2 million visitors to this county a year. I can
Yes.
just imagine someone in one of these hotels finding out that you're available, or a lot of people finding out you're available.
We do not plan on having drop-in classes. No one will show up who is not very well informed about what is about to happen.
And there is lighting so that one can see the path to that building you saw from the picture, but there won't be any additional lighting. It's not
Okay.
necessary. It's the path from the parking lot, it's about from me to you, from the building to where the cars are. So,
All right.
and there's already lights on the house, and that shed has a light. But there
Okay.
won't be any new lighting.
No requirement for additional lighting, then?
No.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion on the board? Do we have a motion in light of staff findings and facts and recommendations?
I'd motion to approve
Um,
I'm bad at that part.
So we'll help out a little bit. So what we do is we make a motion to approve, as stated, accepting the findings of fact as provided by staff and concurring with their recommendations.
So I make a motion to
Or
approve
conditions, or with their recommended conditions. Yep.
as stated, in accordance with the staff's findings of fact and recommendations, the conditional use permit for Eric and Martha Williams.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Just wanted to double check that does include the conditions?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Not hearing any? The recommendation is ready for forwarding to the commissioners.
Unanimous.
Again?
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Yes.
I'll bring that to the commissioners at their next action meeting. Thanks, guys.
I think that's our last item of business, correct?
That's it.
Make a
All right.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Meeting is closed. Meeting's adjourned.
We're gonna do
Planning and zoning.
adjustment. See you later.
Yep, see you.